What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with macro data, there's absolutely nothing coming out this week that's going to really influence NIO and other Chinese stocks. So it is going to largely fall back onto technicals as well as American data. Reason why I bring up American data is because NIO gets moved through algorithmic trading. And by the end of this week, because of all that data, the market is going to be most likely pricing in a 25 basis point cut for the upcoming December 10th meeting. So this week will be fairly active. Algos will be hopefully really pushing a lot of stocks higher. But as associated to NIO, there really isn't anything planned. There hasn't been any official news from them, no SEC filings, aside from their most recent earnings. A couple of things did come out over the weekend I wanted to share with you. One was this, so NIO ES8 deliveries have surpassed 20,000 units. This is a good FYI. I don't really see this being a good reason to go out and buy NIO, nor is it a reason to sell. It's just more reconfirmation that there's a lot of good demand for the ES8, but still 1 month left in Q4, and they definitely need to hit a home run and make sure that they hit all their key, very ambitious milestones. Aside from that though, this did come out, so NIO in active discussions with Australian distributors ahead of 2026 expansion. So again, I feel like this isn't a crazy reason that you need to really stop what you're doing and buy NIO, but this really does hit home that NIO has a lot of ambitious targets as well for 2026 and a lot of expansion. So that is hopefully going to be a good thing, right? They seem to be expanding any and everywhere. Even I saw some kind of posts saying that they are starting to build a lot of studios in Europe. So that should be good. Very, again, costly kind of, but still, nonetheless, as long as you have that global type of approach, yeah, you're going to be a contender and hopefully take market share from other EVs out there. Aside from that, the only other thing that came out that I feel that NIO stock price could get influenced by is this. So Bank of China sticks to its buy rating for NIO. So it looks like they did give a 81.90 price target, whereas it did close on the Hong Kong at 43.90. So pretty good stuff in my opinion. Aside from that though, we should also be getting a couple new ratings under the ADR. So right now we have UBS and JP Morgan that have yet to give any ratings, and they were the bullish ones out there roughly about 2 months ago. So UBS gave a 850 buy rating, and that currently is the highest rating under the ADR. Paul has a 50% success rating. Then Nick with JP Morgan has a 42% success rating and did give a $8 buy. So this week we should be getting a lot more ratings coming out, and then so obviously the stock price is going to influence and get moved by all that. Hopefully they don't follow Barclays' approach and give kind of a downgrade of sorts. Even though they did raise their kind of target, they still kind of kept it as a sell. So something, again, to keep in mind. So most likely that's what's really going to influence NIO. Aside from that, going into this upcoming week, 11.65% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 161 million shares overall being shorted. So shorts have actually started to increase a small amount, nothing too significant, but maybe this is a potential trend that they're going to be starting to build off of, because they've been largely returning throughout the last couple of weeks, with the exception of, I guess, the last couple of days. But that's, I think, one big attributing factor why NIO has been largely getting suppressed, right? So over the last 1 month, it is down 21.93%. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that does play out. But from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 6 to 650 by the end of Friday. And then bears are anticipating for it to be sub 550, with it closing exactly at 550. So that does mean, looking at this, you have 13,000 at the 550 and then 1,000 at the 5. So most likely you're not going to see any crazy gamma squeeze. Might see some abnormal transactions, and from what I can see, there was no crazy ones after hours on Friday. But so yeah, most likely you'll see a little bit of buying first thing from, most likely actually, on a side note, on the dark pool, but nothing to write home about. With it closing at 550, it is trading between this S2 and this S3. So in comparison to a lot of other growth stocks, definitely not doing that great. So 544 is going to be that key support. You really want to watch for that to hold. Flip side, 611, and then 652 is going to be the next strong target / resistance point. I did kind of bring up, as if it does break below this 544, it'd be falling off of a virtual cliff, because the next strong support would be 370. So that would be kind of a crazy pull lower, but nonetheless, it's kind of stuck in limbo right now. So there really hasn't been that much in articles really coming out. Looking at the market position, you see some willing buyers up until around that 530 for the most part. And so that does coincide with that fib level, so that 544 level. But still, if it does break below that, then you could see that there's not really much willing buyers whatsoever. So things could get very real very fast. Aside from that, though, it's just wedge bound between that 10 and also that 200-day moving average. So the fact that it's been below that 10-day moving average since November the 6th shows that it's lost a lot of momentum. Potentially, though, with, let's say, the market starting to price in a 25 basis point cut, you could see NIO move higher because of that, and that might be enough to break it above that 10-day moving average, kind of building up some good artificial momentum, if you kind of think about it like that. But nonetheless, at the same time, if a lot of new ratings do come out and they're fairly bullish, you could see also maybe a nice push higher because of that. So a couple key elements to watch for is going to be that 50 and also 100-day moving average. But aside from that, there really hasn't been that much in crazy reasons to buy NIO. So I think everyone and their dog is just waiting for NIO just to see if they hit all their targets, right? Q4 is going to be huge, and from what we can see, looks like they also have a lot of similar high expectations for 2026. So let me know your general thoughts on NIO. Where do you see things going for this upcoming week? In my opinion, I do believe that it will have a retest of this 544 probably a couple times, but by the end of the week, it will get closer to this S2. I'd like to say that it'd be kind of higher than that, but most likely it'll gravitate towards this S2, so around that $6 range. But still, a little bit of progress, I think, unless something crazy does come out, causing like FOMO and really pushing it higher, but there's a certain level of hesitation. For those of you that did look at a lot of my other videos, so I just put out a video, top 5 based on quantitative data. NIO, surprisingly, based on, again, the quantitative data, is the second best EV out there to buy. So definitely something to take note of. Let me know your general thoughts on NIO. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.